The reveal trailer does not showcase what we're about to see at EA Play, and you must not judge a book by its cover. However, for the sake of this video, I'm going to focus on the trailer and take a look into why it now has over 50% dislikes and a lot of annoyed people in the comments. So to start off, let's take a quick look at that trailer again. In my opinion, it sucked. The one-shot, uncut scene was really hard to follow and didn't showcase the usual Battlefield style feeling we're all used to. It was definitely a letdown the first time I watched it, and even the little things like including a powerful backing track could have really made the difference. You of course get to see tons of little features if you slow the trailer down, but that's not what a trailer is for. That is what the gameplay reveal is for. DICE got things mixed up in my opinion and let everyone down after releasing what is possibly the best Battlefield trailer of all time with Battlefield 1. I think the main thing that caused people to dislike the trailer was the fact it isn't depicting traditional World War II, and whether that's right or wrong is completely up to you. Look at these short clips that really showcase World War II properly. People have a special and emotional connection to World War II and do not like seeing it butchered in the same way that DICE have done with the trailer. Personally, I wanted to have a game that looked exactly like World War II documentaries, with lifelike graphics, authentic vehicles and weapons, superb destruction, and then on top of that, gameplay that of course isn't ultra realistic because you just can't have that in a video game, but immersive and crisp instead. During the trailer you can see a Churchill tank fly past doing at least 40 miles an hour, which a lot of people didn't like. The history buffs were like it couldn't do it, but for me as a gamer I didn't really mind that. I don't mind it when you take something and you just alter it slightly in order to improve the gameplay, which is what they were doing with the Churchill tank, and the same could be said for women in video games. If you're introducing a woman into World War II, maybe she wouldn't have been there in the past, but if that's something that DICE think will improve the gameplay, then, well, I can't really argue with it until I've actually played the game and tried it out. We saw that in Battlefield 1, they introduced a lot of things that people weren't exactly happy about, but it turns out it wasn't so bad in the end, and that's just fine. What DICE have done with the trailer in Battlefield 5 though is a step too far in my opinion. They've introduced characters that look like they'd fit in a game that's not really Battlefield, maybe something like Far Cry or Dirty Bomb, or another game that's slightly more cartoony than what we're used to in Battlefield. And then they've got a setting in World War II that is the most well recorded war. It's got so many movies about it, documentaries about it, photographs, pictures, all sorts of stuff. And then they've gone and created something that doesn't really fit with that narrative, and again then tried to call it immersive and realistic, which is what I have a problem with. Having a setting and overall feeling that does not even get close to that of World War II is an issue though, and that is what the trailer did for me, and I think that's what it did for everyone else, and that's why it has so many dislikes. Cosmetic items were not well received in the trailer as far as I can tell, and I think this is because DICE tried, once again, to show everything they had in just a few minutes. Why didn't they show one piece of customization and wait until the beta or full release to show the rest? They could even show a load more at EA Play, and I think they probably will do over this weekend. At that point people wouldn't actually care if you could have some weird prosthetics, but as those things were not used in the front lines of the Second World War, of course it was always going to create some tension with the fans, especially if you release it in a trailer, something that is going to set the foundations for the rest of the game. Something I found weird as well was the way DICE and DICE devs responded to this negativity. I understand that some of them might get pretty annoyed. I personally would as well if I'd created a trailer in a game and then a lot of people started hating on it, but to be fair, you have to be in a position where you're ready to deal with that sort of stuff because it can always happen. I get the fact they backed up their game and supported their own design decisions, but the devs constantly replied to questions with "it's just a game," or "Battlefield has never been realistic, why are you annoyed now?" Now I'm not picking on any devs in particular, I haven't got a problem with any devs, I haven't actually got a problem with DICE at all. This game isn't really my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hate on them. I just don't like that way of answering questions, and I think it's quite lazy. If DICE/EA are sticking to their guns, why not own it and come out explaining exactly why they made these design decisions with honest answers, not just "it improves gameplay" or "girls play games too, we need to have women in the games." I want to hear the real answer for it and the real reason these decisions are being made, because if you're really saying girls do play games all the time, then why didn't we see women on the front lines in Battlefield 4? That game was not made long ago at all, and things haven't changed that much in 4 to 5 years. The biggest point for me is this: Why make a game about World War II if you're not going to focus on making it as authentic as possible? And I'm not saying realistic, I'm saying authentic. Just make a game set in the near future or in an alternative reality. That way you can do whatever you want whilst keeping everybody happy. I think this is an oversight by DICE, as not only have they annoyed a lot of people, but they have also missed the opportunity to create a once-in-a-lifetime Battlefield World War II game that could have gone down in history as a real classic. It might still do that, of course, and I haven't seen gameplay, so all of this is pretty much based on a trailer, which might not be consistent with the actual gameplay, but at this point, I'm really not sure. I'm going to finish this video with a comment that I saw on one of the trailer review videos. It's quite a good comment written by Dan Ward. There is nothing wrong with including women and minorities. The problem is context. If you want to include women, do a mission or map in Russia, or as the French Resistance, where women actually fought. If you want to include black people, then do it in Dunkirk and France, where French colonial troops helped prevent France from being a complete disaster for the Allies. If you want to include Asians, do a setting in Burma, where Indian colonial troops were the backbone of the defence of India, and the Japanese ferociously tried to break that defence. Ultimately, World War II naturally involved all races and creeds as it was a world war, but if you don't respect the context in which those different ethnicities fought, then you are disrespecting the achievements of those people, and that is the opposite of political correctness. Now, I do agree with some of that. The point is, you can include a lot of stuff in a World War II game, it's just the way you include it that matters. Hopefully you enjoyed this video taking a look at the trailer again. The last time I'll be looking at the trailer, as now we will have new interesting stuff coming out with EA Play right around the corner. I hope you guys are excited. I certainly am. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.